Thank you for watching this video. To best support the channel, please take a moment and click the subscribe button. Also, the links to purchase this fly and the materials to tie the fly are in the description. Today we are tying the updated glorified worm. It is a great pattern. It catches bluegill, it catches trout, it catches carp. It catches all sorts of things, so you definitely should add some of these into your box. We're going to go ahead and start by throwing in a Moonlit Tagata ML201 in size 10. This is a 1x short, 1x strong down eye hook that's barbless. We've moved to barbless for this fly particularly because of the bluegill that we catch. We want to make sure we're able to get this fly out of their mouths when they go crazy on it. We have a 2.5mm slotted tungsten bead in red. Feel free to mix and match the colors on this because it's just a fun pattern to tie and it gets great results. So go ahead and get your thread started. Snip off your tag end, and then you're going to go ahead and grab some micro chenille. It's super chenille micro red from Fly Tyer's Dungeon that I'm using here, but any super small chenille will work just fine. And go ahead and get that tied in, and you want to leave about a bead's length between where your tie-in tip is and the bead so that we can have a better tie-off point for our chenille when we're getting done. So go ahead and wrap that back a little bit into the bend of the hook. And just make sure that everything's secured in place. We're going to fold that forward so our entire tail length is from the back where we're tied in to the bead, and snip that off. And then we'll go ahead and grab our lighter. Well, we're going to move our vise and camera around first just for cinematic effect. So we're going to go ahead and grab our lighter and singe the tail end of this chenille real quick. I like doing that at the very beginning of this fly just in case you accidentally singe too much. You don't have to scrape the entire fly apart. So take our thread back to the tie-in point and grab some chenille. This is Humongous Fritz from Uphaven. It's a 5mm chenille in gold. And we're just going to go ahead and palmer that from the tie-in point all the way up to right behind the bead. And do close touching wraps. It doesn't have to be super exact because if there's a little bit of gap, it'll show a little bit of that red through, which is a nice little trigger point. But you want to keep them as uniform as you can, so try and have it be touching. And then get behind the thread or behind the bead, grab your tying thread. Excuse me. And then you're going to go ahead and cross underneath the material so we can catch that. And then we're going to wrap right over it and pull it in tight so it sinks behind the bead. Do a wrap in front of the material, sink it behind the bead, and then do one more wrap behind, catch it again and in front and sink them in tight. And then grab your scissors to cut out this Fritz from Uphaven. Then snip that out. Grab your whip finish tool and we'll go ahead and throw in a whip finish. And just get that right behind the bead. Try not to trap any of the little pieces of the fibers from this chenille. Lock that into place. Pull it tight to make sure it seats behind the bead. Grab your scissors. And I like just pulling tight against my scissors and it snips it nice and clean from the edge. From here, give just a little bit of extra durability. Grab your UV resin or your super glue and put a dot right behind it to let it sink into the thread wraps a little bit. Then grab your UV light, cure that, and then you have a completed fly. As mentioned, I have caught so many fish on this fly. My kids have caught fish on this fly. It's just a good all-around, simple, effective fly. Check the link in the video description to buy the fly and to snag the materials to tie the fly. Thank you.